I will be, there we are. Hello, YouTube. Okay, good to be here with you. I hope you're having a fantastic day, a great week so far, and are set for a beautiful weekend. Life has been good, has been crazy as usual here at Tanglewood. That's not changing anytime soon, I suspect. We're still being affected, of course, by this craziness in the world today, and got to be careful what I say today. Last week, my Spanish video, which I record on Saturday mornings, was taken down by YouTube on Saturday afternoon because I made some comments about the coming, the V word, all that, that thing they're working on that's going to save us all from this terrible scourge, which we only have a 99.96% chance of surviving without their help, right? Save us, please. Yeah, so good to see everybody here on Instagram. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, okay, there we go. So I'm just gonna say hello to some folks there, and I'll be coming back to YouTube. To those of you here on YouTube, I see there's lots of comments on YouTube already. Those of you on Instagram, I'm simultaneously broadcasting live every week on YouTube, if you're here on Instagram with me. And on YouTube, it's a lot easier for me to read. I can't really attend to both screens at the same time very well. And so what I tend to do is I tend to respond to the YouTube comments, which are easier to see because it's a big screen as opposed to a little tiny screen. And I've got them set back quite far, as you can probably tell. And so I'm going to scroll up here and see what we have so far. We started out with a bang. We have Jari. Hey, Jari, good to see you. Jari, who's a client and dear friend, has made a €5 contribution. Thank you. Says, hi, Loren, namaste. When have people been unable or able to heal leukemia and stage 4 prostate cancer? How do children and teens experience fasting? Okay. So let's see. Well, we don't have a lot of experience with leukemia. We've only seen a couple of people with leukemia. Let me think. Yeah, I think with most cancers, first of all, the sooner it's caught, the earlier it is, the better the chance of survival, right? So with most stage 1 or 2 cancers, people will survive, usually. With later stage cancers, when it's stage 4, the stage 4 cancer is usually called terminal cancer, and it is much more difficult to overcome. It's not impossible. We have stage 4 cancer patients, clients who are still alive today, many years later. Not everyone's going to have the same success. So that's probably the biggest factor. It's just, I mean, obviously where there's cancer, there's been an imbalance, toxicity, and imbalances in the body, which have led to poor immune function is typically what's happening. Where that's the case, we're going to have some challenges. I mean, that's where this is coming from. So the question is just how far out of balance is the body? What exactly, how big of an issue is this? Is this something the body can overcome or not? In many cases, it is. It just depends on exactly what's going on. And each case is going to be different. Some cases are going to be far more difficult than others. So stage 4 cancer, prostate cancer, stage 4 is not an easy thing to heal. We have had some clients heal with stage 4 prostate cancer. It's the people who have been successful are those people who have kept in mind the simple fact that fasting is allowing the body to cleanse and rebalance itself, to heal and balance and eliminate the garbage which caused the cancer. If after fasting you go back and make the same poor choices, you are very likely to recreate the same situation. And so in order to see long-term success, it's important that you continue to make excellent choices. Okay, if you are dealing with stage 4 prostate cancer, it's not a death sentence. However, if you're not willing to change anything, it very well might be. Okay, I mean, and one of the most important things to change is the mind, your emotional state. Okay, I mean, to realize how powerful we are, our amazing bodies can heal. A lot of people, unfortunately, are told that they have a death sentence, and if that's the case, they will probably die. And this is going to be the same with any advanced cancer, with many conditions, but especially with advanced cancers. We need the immune function to function as well as possible. We function much better when we're going through life as the powerful beings that we really are. If we're telling ourselves that we're doomed and we're screwed and we're stuck, then we probably are. It's going to be very difficult to overcome that. Children and teens experience fasting perfectly well. We can fast at virtually any age of life. My youngest client, Yari, was actually Dutch. As I think you know, I have a godson in Holland who fasted when he was 2.5 years old. He was born with a heart defect. He was on medication his entire life up to that point. After fasting, his body was able to keep up with the problem of leaking valves to be able to eliminate the excess fluid without any drugs for 5 or 6 months. The doctor said he didn't need them. Now, eventually, he did need to go back on the drugs. Okay, but his body was able to function so much better even at that age. And he fasted for 5 days. It wasn't a long fast. But at his size, that was enough to dramatically impact how well his body functioned. We fasted a young girl a couple of years ago. She came with her mother. Mom did 26 days. The 9-year-old did 21. She came in with issues like ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and left here without those issues. And so, and a much higher level of health in general, just feeling and functioning better. We see this over and over again. I'm thinking of a young boy who fasted with me when he was 13 or 14. He was having all kinds of issues, fatigue and concentration, etc. And he came and fasted for 21 days with his mother and went on to, graduate at the top of his class. I think he was class valedictorian, went on to a very successful college career. He's now in his 20s. Doing fantastically well. His mother credits that. The only thing that worked for him, that helped him, was fasting 21 days with me. She subsequently has been back, and she wanted to bring both her husband and her daughter. Her daughter so far hasn't been willing to come, but her husband was here as well. And so, having seen this powerful transformation with their son. So this works very well for children and teenagers, just like it does for everyone else. It's just a question of what people are willing to do, but everyone can benefit from this. Okay, so I see we have several more super chats, which means I'm scrolling down to see who they are and what they have said here. We have a lot of comments already today. Jeanette Walsh has made a $5 contribution. Thank you very much, Jeanette. I don't see a question here, Jeanette. I apologize if you've put it somewhere else, but there we go. Does water fasting affect or help narcolepsy? Yeah, so narcolepsy, for people who aren't familiar with it, is a condition where you tend to fall asleep anywhere, anytime. And the answer is yes. What we do with fasting, starting to rain. If it rains hard, it's maybe you're going to hear the noise in the background on the microphone. It's going to be a little hard perhaps to hear, but we have metal roofs here. And so I love the sound of the rain. Especially love it at night when I'm trying to sleep, but it's a little hard. If it starts raining in the middle of a lecture here, I'll usually just take a break and wait for it to slow down. If it starts raining during a movie, we put on subtitles because it's going to be difficult to hear. Okay, so yeah, absolutely yes. What we're doing fasting is we're allowing the body to balance itself as well as possible. And this means that all issues, whatever they may be, are going to be significantly resolved. We're going to see huge benefits with virtually every condition we might deal with. Okay, and narcolepsy is no exception. Remember, our bodies are self-healing. Healing and cleansing are biological processes. What fasting does is it gives the body the optimal conditions to cleanse and heal, so that we cleanse and heal as efficiently and as effectively as is possible, regardless of what the specific circumstances are. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But the answer is absolutely yes. I'll remind everybody here now, in case you're not here for the long term, for the whole hour. I realize people may have other things they need to do. It's hard to imagine there's anything more important than this, but be that as it may, I know it's the case. So if getting here is difficult for you for whatever reasons, economic reasons, or because you're a single parent, whatever it might be, I mean, fasting is about resting as completely as possible. But I work with people via Skype, and that means it costs much less. You don't have to travel, etc. It's easier in many ways. So if you'd like to resolve this issue, assuming this is your issue, Jeanette, or if it's an issue of someone you love, I would be very happy to guide them through the process via Skype. Feel free to reach out to me via email, info@tanglewoodwellnesscenter.com, and we can address further any issues there might be there. Okay? Ian, 24. That's Ian's 4 times 6. 6 times 4. Has made a 5-pound contribution. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate that very much. And Ian has said, have persevered with your inspiration on watermelon and can now eat up to 2 kilograms with no melon belly. It's now one of my gratitudes. Continued below. Okay, let me see. I'm looking for it below, Ian. I don't see it so far. You're making me work today. I'm guessing there were a lot of other comments that came in quickly because I'm not seeing any further comment here so far. I'm scrolling down quite far. I'm at the bottom. Ian, I'm not sure what's up there. I don't see the, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I see. You made another contribution, 5-pound. I wasn't looking there. I was looking in the comment section. So Ian has made a 10-pound contribution in total and said, but I struggle with lettuce with more than 50 grams giving me gas. Is 50 grams, a half a head, enough, or should I also persevere to eat more lettuce? No, Ian, it's perfectly fine. You don't need to increase your lettuce intake at this point. You may very well be better off eating more lettuce over the long haul. But if you're eating a half a head of lettuce every day, you are doing much, much better than most people do, okay? A lot of people don't come close to getting the leafy greens that they should eat in. There's no question. I mean, science is pretty clear that there are things we need that we're only getting from lettuce. We're not really getting from fruits very well. And that most people, and now again, I realize that any study looking at the average population won't affect us, but the fact that there are things we need, that affects everyone. A study published 15, 16, 18 years ago, something like that, said that if the average American doubled their intake of leafy greens, they would be much healthier. Now, the irony about that, the funny thing about that, was that the average American was eating at the time 1 piece of lettuce per day. That's what the average consumption was. So we know that going from 1 piece to 2 pieces per day is useful. If you're eating half a head, you're eating a lot more than 2 leaves of lettuce. You're probably eating, I don't know, at least 10 or 12, I would guess. I mean, I guess the average head probably has, anywhere between, well, maybe 15 to 20. So let's say you're eating at least 7 or 8, right? So we know that 2 is better than 1. We don't necessarily know that 4 is better than 2, or that 8 is better than 4, that 16 is better than 8. I believe that's probably true, but it's true only to a certain point. I mean, you can't take that ad infinitum, which is say that we should be eating all the lettuce we can possibly consume. We'd be better off eating 50 heads a day. We wouldn't be. Lettuce is about 50% protein. as are most dark green leaves. And iceberg lettuce is going to be less protein, more water. But if we are eating dark leafy greens, including dark lettuces, we're getting about half the calories from protein. They don't have a lot of calories. But if you eat more than 2 or 3 heads per day, you are actually getting as much protein as you'd be getting eating a typical serving of animal foods. And that's too much protein. That much protein makes us age and die faster. So half a head of lettuce up to a full head of lettuce per day, that's perfect. Okay, you don't need more than that. So if you can get that much, that's fantastic. And you're in good shape. And what will probably happen over time is you'll become better able to eat more lettuce. Now, honestly, Ian, the best thing that you could probably do, and you probably know it's coming, come spend 4 to 6 weeks with us. Allow your body to heal completely the gut. And I think what you'll find is you'll have no trouble eating lettuce. But in the meantime, eat what you can handle. That's fine. And then go from there. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. Thank you so much for your contributions. I appreciate that very much. Run Guy has made a $5 contribution and said, "Hi, Loren. Peace, my friend. Wondering if CBD is toxic, and if so, why is that?" Yeah, unfortunately, CBD, which is an extract of cannabis, is indeed toxic to us. And why that is because most leaves, most plants are toxic to us. The CBDs, the cannabis and cannabis-related products aren't unique in that way. This is true for most plants because plants want to survive. And so, in fact, anything that has a medicinal, remember, healing is a biological process. So the organism can heal the organism, nothing else. Okay? Anything that has a perceived, medicinal effect, right? That, we think, well, that heals us. People would say, CBD allowed me to heal my whatever, cancer, whatever it might be. It's used for many things now. What's really happening is the body is reacting to some toxicity in the substance to give it, which gives us symptomatic relief. Okay, that's why the medicinal effect is there. That's why it's present. Okay, that's what a medicinal effect is. Be clear about that, right? Don't be naive and believe that any substance is going to heal your body. Healing happens by the body only. Only the organism can heal the organism. Okay, there's no exceptions to that. Only the organism can heal the organism. So CBD is toxic, like most other plants and plant extracts, and it can make you feel better, but ultimately it's not where real healing comes from. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Again, honestly, and I know this is widely misunderstood, and you have every right to be skeptical about this if you don't know me very well or don't believe me or don't like me. There are people who think I run a fasting center to make money. Well, frankly, it's a little silly if you think about this. If you think there's a lot of money to be made here, trust me, it's nothing compared to what you could make running a typical business. This is not the most lucrative business. It's personnel intensive. We could be open all the time. I'm not willing to do that anymore. And so I did that for some years. And so we're open, X number of weeks per year so I can get a break. Haven't had a break now in almost 6 months. And everyone leaves here in just over 2 weeks. And we're down to very few people. Technically we close tomorrow, and we have 2 of our clients finish up tomorrow and then and leave. And then we still have a few people here, but one more guy actually coming because we're going to be here for 2 more weeks now. I'd already committed to that. But then we get a break, and we're closed for only about 6 weeks. We're back actually 6 weeks from tomorrow. We open again for the winter session. By the way, if you were hoping to come for the winter session, we are nearly full now, nearly fully booked. We do have 1 or 2 spaces left. We have these beautiful little thatch-covered buildings. We call them ranchitos, and the ranchitos are small buildings. They're big enough to hold 2 beds with a small. I'll let the cat in. Hello, buddy. with a small nightstand between them. When we're fasting people there, instead of putting 2 people in there, which would be quite tight. Hey, Chai, stop that. We'll instead we take out one bed. We only have one bed, the nightstand. There's space in there. There's 2 chairs and a little table on the front porch. You can put a chair inside if you like. It's thatch covered. It has wooden walls and floors, big screen panels, lots of airflow. They're in the gardens. That's beautiful space. Hey, buddy, come on. Oh, you're all wet. I don't think I want you on me, bud. Why don't you come up here? You just come in from the rain. No, stay there, please. Okay. So we still have some of those available, a few of those. Other than that, we're pretty much fully booked for December. We do have some space 4 to 6 weeks after we open. So for the 19th, there's only those few the ranchitos are beautiful spaces. They don't have bathrooms attached, but there's a beautiful bathroom facility, a building, pretty large facility, which has a ladies' room and a men's room. There's multiple toilets and sinks in each one, but not attached. It's a very short walk. They're beautiful buildings, and some people really love them. And you're there. It's a private space. You're there by yourself. So some people like that instead of sharing a room with somebody else, which is the more typical situation. Hey, Ash, what's up, bud? Okay, let me see here. M. Will has made a $15 contribution. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. I don't see your comment. So maybe there's no comment. I don't see a comment or a question, but thank you very much for the contribution. I very much appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you. I appreciate that you're here, and I'm guessing either committed to your health or planning on trolling. I know there's not so many of those people here, but obviously they show up too. My commitment is to eliminating those people if we see them. I'm here and happy to give my time for those of you that are truly committed to your health. If what I'm sharing makes sense for you, as it does for many people, it does work. Like, I unconditionally guarantee you're going to see results if you're willing to do what I'm teaching you, because these things have worked over and over again. They work for me for many years now. Again, I'm coming up next month in November. I'll celebrate 29 years living on the diet that I currently eat without being sick a day, still maintaining my girlish figure, and having tons of energy and being strong and fit, et cetera, et cetera. And it's worked for more than 12,000 clients, these things. So they never fail if you're willing to apply them. Now, that doesn't mean everyone's going to be perfectly healthy, because again, if you're coming to this already quite sick, we're going to have to overcome that. And some conditions, we talked earlier about cancer, not every cancer someone's going to be able to cure. It just depends on the condition, but you're going to take your health to a much higher level, and in most cases to an amazing level. Okay. Stephanie Palache, hello, Stephanie. Good to see you. I know I'm going to see you soon. You said, good morning, Loren. I'm so excited to escape to Tanglewood for 6 weeks in the middle of New Mexican winter. Much love. We are excited that you're going to be joining us again. We're looking forward to seeing you as always, and appreciate your ongoing support. So thank you so much again, as I thank you every week for being here. I appreciate that very much, truly. Okay. Let's see. Let me scroll down. Those love songs. I haven't seen those love songs since a week or so. Thank you, always very inspirational. You are very, very welcome. I am so appreciative of your ongoing contributions as well. Those love songs has made a $35 donation, and I don't see a question or comment, and I think that's typically the case. Please know that I am very happy to answer any questions for you, or assist in any way I can. So if you feel like there's anything that you want to ask me, and if you don't want to ask it here, I can't do this for everyone, but those love songs has consistently contributed here for quite a while. Feel free to write to me, and I'll be happy to respond via email. Okay, that's difficult. It's difficult to respond to everyone's emails. I can't do it, honestly. There isn't enough hours in the day now for me to do that. So much else going on, and we have so much else going on. It's incredible. Lots of great stuff, but it's just keeping me incredibly busy. And in fact, I'm going to talk right now. I know there's another contribution or two I need to get to, but in the meantime, I want to share with everyone here. I'm glad you're all here, and I'm doing my best to share everything I can. It's a little bit difficult to get a full understanding, perhaps, with these little pieces at a time. I'm answering questions, and we don't really have time to do a full discourse on any subject. And the full discourse on any subject can be really, really powerful for people. So we are going to be offering a couple of things coming up soon, and I don't have dates yet. We're going to work on that. I'd hope to have it by today. I will have it figured out by next Friday, I promise. So be back on Friday, and I'll share with you then, both here on YouTube as well as on Instagram. But first of all, I'm going to be offering a free 2-hour webinar, which is essentially what I call an introduction to creating perfect health. I'm going to bring all the pieces together and try to make it, help you understand, if you don't already, why what I'm teaching works, why it makes a difference, and why you can't rely on other paths. Okay, the fact is, medicine, conventional nutrition are not going to get you there. Okay, most of what's out there is not going to get you there. I'm going to explain why in detail, with the full discourse. That's going to be an introduction, and you don't need to go there, but I would. If you can get there, that's free. I would definitely go there. You'll need to register for it, and we're going to have that coming up soon. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to happen, but I'm telling you it is going to happen. So you want to be looking for it. You'll have a chance to register. There will be a limited number of space available, and so as soon as we can give you the registration information, you'll want to get yourself registered for this. Please don't register if you're not going to come, because that will take a space from somebody who does want to be there. But if you're committed to your health, it's free, and I'm doing this because, just this lecture is so powerful to help people really understand the full picture. Okay, so you want to be there. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you that we're going to be offering at the end of that a course, and I've probably mentioned this here before. I've been doing this course now for the last month in Spanish. I have 2 more Sundays left through. I'm thinking we might do it differently in English, so that we don't get so close to Christmas. So maybe, I don't know if we want to do more than 2 hours at a time, but maybe we'll do a Sunday and then a weeknight evening sometime, which is going to make it difficult for people in Europe to see it live. Everything's recorded, right? When you sign up for the seminar, which will take place over 5 different occasions, 5 different days, over the course of, say, 2.5 weeks, I think, if we do it this way. It's a 10-hour course. There is a cost associated with it. We don't have all that worked out yet, but I guarantee you it's going to be one of the best investments you ever make, because, again, what you're going to learn, where I have 10 hours, you have 10 hours of my time, where I have 10 hours to share with you, is a organized, purposeful approach from A to Z about exactly it's called Creating Perfect Health. So we have the introduction to Creating Perfect Health and Creating Perfect Health. And in this seminar, I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to do to feel and function amazingly well. And that's going to be coming up soon. Again, we'll be letting you know about all of that probably within the next week. I should have all of this by next Friday is my plan. I'm not sure if it'll be before Friday, but by Friday, we should have this worked out. Okay, so looking forward to seeing you then. All right, to having that information for you. All right, I'm going to scroll down here because we have more contributions. Hedo Alfonso has made a $5 Canadian contribution and said nothing's more important than listening to you pound the table on health, Loren. Thank you. I don't do a lot of table pounding, although sometimes I feel like it. But thank you. I understand exactly what you mean. yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's just crazy what's out there today, and how far we've come from what like is sensible. Like common sense is gone, it seems, and so many people are so confused about these things. It's, you know, I have seen person after person achieve amazing results, and today I'm looking forward. If you've been watching all the videos lately, we've done a couple. We've put up a couple, I think 2 or 3 already with Kenny. Kenny has been here now for 9 weeks tomorrow. Today we're going to record our last video installment with him before he gets ready to end his journey with us. He fasted for 40 days, has been refeeding now for just over 3 weeks. It's been an incredible, life-changing experience for him. And you need to understand exactly what's possible. You know, this is a 59-year-old guy who has taken his health to a whole new level. And he still has a long way to go. I mean, 6 weeks from now, you know, if he just sticks with the program, 6 weeks from now, he's going to be feeling and functioning even better than he does now. But, you know, amazing, amazing shifts here. And he'll tell you himself. So that, hopefully that video, Guzelle, who produces our videos, was gone for 2 weeks. She just took a break and went back to the U.S., where she's not from, but where she lived for a while and has friends and family. And she's now back. She came back yesterday, midday. And so we'll be recording this today. She'll be working on this, and it'll probably be up sometime in the next week, something like that. So, Hero, thank you so much for your contribution. Again, I appreciate the fact that you are here every week and that you're often contributing. You know, I don't expect anyone to contribute. I hope this is clear. I appreciate very much those who are willing to contribute, because it, you know, it takes a tremendous amount of time. My time is so limited, and honestly, I mean, life has been a little challenging, as it has been for many people. I realize it's not just us. A lot of people have been similarly affected this year, you know, with businesses closing and a lot of people not working. It's been challenging for a lot of people. We're certainly feeling it here, and I appreciate the support of everybody here. All right, let me scroll on down. Eric Ferris. Hey, Eric, how are you doing? Eric's another old buddy. Eric and I met, I think we're coming up on 19. Eric's going to laugh at this because he has told me already probably 5 times exactly when we met. I don't remember those kinds of dates. I've done a lot of events all over the world. We met at an event in Portland, Oregon, many years ago, 18, 19 years ago, something like that. And he subsequently was very instrumental. He chauffeured me around when I would come to Seattle to speak. And he's been here, you know, we've worked together. He's a great man. Thank you, Eric. Eric has made an $8 contribution and said, does a cooked veggie have the same calories as the same one raw? To get fat, one must consume more calories than your body expends. And what? And more what? Yeah. So yes, a cooked veggie has the same calories as the same one raw. Cooking doesn't affect the caloric content of food, at least as far as we know. Now, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to find that it would somehow have an effect, because understand, I mean, calories are an interesting thing. I don't know if you know what a calorie is. We talk about calories, but a calorie is actually the amount of heat necessary to raise the temperature of 1 cc, 1 cubic centimeter of water, 1 degree Celsius. So how much heat you have to apply, and you know how much energy. And that energy, the way they measure this is they burn the food in a test tube to see how much heat it produces. But we're not burning food in our bodies in a test tube. That's not what's happening. It's a different process. So it gives us a sense. It's a way to keep track. It's a way to keep score. But it's not really exactly the same thing. But as far as I know, cooking the food doesn't really change the embedded energy to any significant degree. To get fat, there's a couple things that can happen, you know, that can create. How do we get overweight? So first of all, this can happen if we're eating more. I mean, we need to eat more calories than we're expending. Okay. But honestly, for most people, I mean, like eating as much as you can and trying to burn off all the excess by exercising is a really bad strategy, because we burn relatively few calories when we exercise. So for most people to try to maintain an optimal weight by doing tons of exercise while eating, 5 pizzas every day, that's not going to work very well. It's going to be almost impossible. I mean, you'd have to work out all day long. If you're ready and willing and able to spend all of your time working out, which, by the way, is going to shorten your life, because what we know is that exercise is good for you, and the people who do the best are people who get a moderate amount of exercise. Couch potatoes don't live very long, but neither do people who are doing excessive amounts of exercise. Exercise does create free radical damage, and the body can heal unless we overdo it. And so what we want to do is be moving our bodies regularly, but not doing so much that we can't recover from it. Again, you can see Chai over there on the couch. He's very healthy, he's very active, and he spends most of his time doing nothing. And fortunately, we don't have to spend 18 hours a day sleeping like a cat does. That's because of their diet. But we definitely don't want to be like doing intense exercise hours and hours every day. That's not really very useful for us. Okay, so in order to get fat, one is going to consume more than they need. Now, this is where people think that a calorie is a calorie. I mean, if this thing has 10 calories, let's actually put some numbers to this. Will 100 calories, one banana roughly, will 100 calories of banana affect you the same way as 100 calories of chocolate chip cookies? No, probably not. First of all, the body has a much easier time storing fat as fat than it does storing anything else as fat. We can store excess carbohydrates or protein as fat as well, but that's not so easy to do, and there's probably some caloric losses involved. So as we create fat from those other macronutrients, it's not as efficient, which means we get less fat. So eating more fat is going to make you fatter, okay? It's also a question of what you do. So it's how much exercise you burn, but how many calories you burn with exercise, but more than that, it's what exercise you do. So for instance, my preference, because I don't have a lot of time, isn't to do a lot of cardio. Cardio takes time, and the benefits aren't that great. What I would do with the limited time I have these days, very limited time I have these days, is between calls I'll do a set of push-ups. You can see, because my apartment was cleaned yesterday afternoon, and I haven't done anything yet today because I've been busy all morning until now without a single break, those are my push-up stands on the table there on either sides of the flowers. So between calls, if I have 3 minutes, I might jump down and do some push-ups. Now, these days, honestly, I'm so busy, I might instead answer an email or try to get back to someone that's been waiting to hear from me for 3 or 4 days. Don't feel bad if you're waiting to hear from me. I apologize, but it's just hard to keep up. But I don't do a lot of cardio. But for instance, if you are overweight now and would like to burn some of that weight, if you do body weight exercises as I do, calisthenics, what you want to do is you want to finish your exercise program with some cardio. It could be jumping jacks, it could be skipping rope, it could be bouncing on a trampoline, it could be sprinting up a hill, it could be anything like that. It could be burpees, it could be anything that's going to get your heart racing. Because when you do that, you are keeping your metabolism faster for longer, okay, when you end with cardio. So if you want to do cardio, but you don't want to lose excess weight, then start your routine with cardio. Do that first, and then do body weight exercises, and your metabolism won't stay as high for as long, which means you won't burn as many calories that way. Okay, so if this is important to you, to not burn excess calories, then don't finish up with cardio. Okay, so it's the activities we do, and it's the amount of sleep we get. Okay, there's more, but if you're not getting enough sleep, I mean, people who need to lose weight but aren't sleeping enough are going to have a much harder time losing weight. And the same is true for people who need to gain weight. So getting enough sleep is critically important. And it's not just that. We need to get enough vitamin D. Remember, every aspect of our body is intimately connected to every other aspect. So if we're not getting enough sunlight, Okay, if we're mineral imbalanced, any of these things is going to affect how well we do and whether the body is able to maintain proper weight balance or not. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, Eric, but I hope that answers your question well and gives you some things to think about. Angela Shimoler. Angela, please forgive me. I'm sure I just murderated your name. Sorry about that. I'm guessing perhaps you may have some German background, some German descent. Angela says, what are your thoughts on seaweed, raw nori, wakame, etc.? Okay, it's a great question. So first of all, keep in mind that one of the reasons people recommend eating seaweeds, and people eat seaweeds, is for the B12, right? We believe that seaweeds are a good source of B12. This is a common belief. It turns out that seaweeds actually contain B12 analogs. And to give you a bit of a sense of this, I probably don't need a prop for this. You'll understand without the prop. But anyway, here we go. You recognize that? That's a key, right? You all seen a key before. So B12 is like the key, and the body has B12 receptor sites, which are like the lock. And so the key goes into the lock, right? You can't put the key into any lock. I mean, some locks it might fit in a nut turn, especially if it's made by the same company. But other keyholes, you can't get the key in if it's the wrong key, right? So if you have the right key, if it's going to go into the lock, let me say that again. If the key, let's say the key is made by the same company, okay, Yale, for instance, is one company. If it's a Yale lock and a Yale key, the key may go in. It may be the wrong key. But that would be like having a receptor site, and instead of having B12, the right key, you have a B12 analog. So it still fits into the key. It looks enough like the key that it will fit in, but it won't turn the lock, okay? Our B12 receptor sites will accept B12 analogs, but the body can't use the analog. It's not B12. It's an analog. It's something else. And so if we occupy the receptor sites with B12 analogs, they're going to be unable. If the key is in the lock and you come along with the right key, in the case of a key, you could just pull the key out. But what if the key broke off in the lock? You couldn't get it out. And you come along with the right key, you can't get the right key in. If the receptor sites are occupied with B12 analogs, how can the body absorb B12? It's going to have a hard time doing it, okay? Secondly, seaweeds are good sources of iodine because there's plenty of iodine in the sea, but they also tend to have a lot of salt in them. And this isn't sodium and chloride, which are in the leaves, but this is salt, sodium chloride, an inorganic crystal from the water itself. You can try to wash it all off, but salt is, raises your blood pressure and your body, it's toxic to the body. Your body tries to protect itself from it. So you want to be careful. One of the things that I would share, though, I have this idea, when a cow wakes up in a field of grass, not in factory farms, but like here, across the street from us, there's a farm that has some cattle on it. And when those cows wake up in the morning and look around, they realize they're surrounded by grass. They think, holy crap, I died and went to heaven. I'm surrounded by grass. Now, that is their daily life, so it's not like it's a big surprise. But that would be like me waking up in a mango orchard or here at Tanglewood where we've got fruit trees everywhere. That's where we want to be, where we can go pick the fruit everywhere. Okay, that's their ideal food. And the point is that every species is naturally attracted to the diet that its body is intended to eat. You and I would probably not be all that excited if we woke up in a big field of grass and said, oh, look, there's grass everywhere. Yeah, that doesn't really appeal to us. Like your mouth's not going to start watering when you see the grass. So here's the question. With that in mind, here's the question. You're walking down the beach. You see a pile of seaweed on the sand. Okay, the question is, does your mouth start watering? Are you thinking, oh my God, that looks amazingly delicious? Or are you thinking, I'm going to try not to step in that? Okay, I've spent a lot of time on beaches. and I love the beach. Most people do, I think. I try not to step in the seaweed. I never think, wow, that looks really tasty. I wish I could eat that. Okay. No, it's just like, it's slimy. It's kind of disgusting. Now, you may have developed a flavor for it. And I'll be honest with you, and Eric knows this. Eric's been to our fruit festival, and every year we'll do one night. We always have fruit available at our fruit festival, every meal, right? 3 meals a day. We have an organized snack in the afternoon, and there's fruit out all the time, so people can eat anytime they want to, okay, for a week. I wouldn't recommend that, but you can eat whatever you choose to. But we also, in the evenings, we always offer something, a salad or something which is a little more prepared, and all raw vegan, 100%. We don't even have a stove on site. I haven't had a stove for many years now. Okay, and one night I'll do raw sushi, raw vegan sushi, using raw nori, sushi nori, right? Nori is a seaweed. They make it into sheets. I use the version that's not cooked. It's not toasted. It's raw. It's not ideal. It's a compromise. I'll eat it every once in a while. Okay, I would eat seaweed every once in a while, any kind of seaweed. I mean, I like it. I'll eat it sometimes, but I do believe it's not really part of our natural diet, and probably some better. Therefore, just for that reason, I don't believe we can improve on nature. So I believe eating what my body was naturally adapted for, which is fruit and soft, tender, non-strong tasting leafy greens, is the very best that we can do. And that's what I live on. But every once in a while, maybe a few times a year, I might eat some seaweed. It's not part of my regular diet. I wouldn't encourage anyone to make it part of theirs. Of course, that's up to you. Okay? I hope that helps. All right. Let me scroll down here. How we doing with time? We still have just about 10 minutes because I have a call with a group in 10 minutes. You know this if you're here regular, because this is every week at 10 o'clock my time. So Cassidy Sanders has made, I love Cassidy Sanders. Cassidy Sanders, you're very creative, aren't you? Please don't get me wrong. I appreciate everyone, regardless of what your contribution is or if you don't make a contribution. But Cassidy Sanders has made an $11.27 contribution. And that is unusual. And that tells me Cassidy is someone creative, not like the rest, not like the crowd, okay? Cassidy stands apart from the crowd. She says, hi, Loren, thank you for all the wisdom. I'm interested in coming to Tanglewood for 4 weeks. Is there a coupon code for the 20% off? There is no coupon code. I never expected we'd be offering this for so long. You know, when things started to really go south after all this happened 7-8 months ago, I realized, people weren't registering. They were afraid to travel. Even before, well, no, I guess it was really after the travel was banned, and we had no idea how long it was going to last. And all of a sudden, the regular income we've experienced for the last nearly 24 years stopped coming in to the same degree, and it became difficult to pay the bills. And so I started offering a 20% discount. We're still offering it today. It's about to go away, by the way. It's in its very last day. So if you're listening here and you are, and we're now, as of today's the 30th, so 2 days from now, I believe that would be Sunday, on the 1st of November, Costa Rica is open to, I think, everybody on the planet can come, not at the same time. Okay, we don't have space here for 7 billion people, so please take turns. But we're as I said, we're almost full now for December. If you want a ranchito, which is a sweet little space, a private space, you can do that for December 19th. But we are open now to travel here from everywhere, or will be in a couple days. But there's very little space left for December. For January, we have space for January and the middle and end of January, depending on how long your stay is. We'll tell you when. What you'll do is go ahead and get us your registration form found on the website, and put a note in there saying you're ready to come, or you want to take advantage of the 20% discount, which means payment now, making the investment now, which helps us keep doing what we're doing. And what I will do is I will send you an invoice, or my staff will get you an invoice for the 20% discount for payment, within a few days. Okay, so that's the way to make that happen. And thank you so much. I look forward to meeting you, and hopefully seeing you here sometime soon. Okay, thanks so much, Cassidy. Engin Gumush. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. And I'm guessing, again, I think you've been here before, you've posted before, contributed before, and I appreciate it. And I think I mentioned last time, and I don't know if you ever told me, but I'm guessing you are Turkish, or because I'm guessing from your name. Maybe I'm wrong. In any case, okay. So the question, hi Loren, unfortunately I can't come there or afford Skype guidance, but I love fasting. Could you please give me some advice for fasting alone for maximum benefit? I've already water fasted once for 10, twice for 7, and 28 days. Well, sure. I mean, honestly, my best advice, sorry, but my best advice is don't fast without experienced guidance. Now, I understand everyone's situation is different, and I said this before, and I'm going to come to your question. I promise. I'm not going to take your generous contribution. By the way, $21.99, almost 22 euros. I'm not going to take that contribution without answering your question. But I'm going to start by saying that we see people all the time, and especially by Skype, which costs less, who really didn't have the money, but find a way to make it work. And if you want to fast with me for 4 weeks via Skype, that's 2,000 US. And I realize in some countries that's a lot of money. Okay, and I realize for some people that's nothing, it's no big deal. People write a check and that's it. I mean, it's for some people it's an easy thing, and for other people not so much. If you work with me via Skype, you have 2 options right now. Again, this is a temporary thing, but for the time being, we're offering a 10% discount if you pay in full. Now, if you have a way to borrow the money, you can save 10% by paying in full. But the alternative is you can pay 50% upfront and then make payments of $100 a month, okay, for however long it takes. And write to me, please, and let's talk about what your situation is, okay? Feel free to write info@tanglewoodwellnesscenter.com, and we'll explore this in more detail. But in terms of tips for everyone, rest as completely as you can. You should be doing nothing but resting. Make sure you are sipping water, no more than 500 milliliters per hour. Never drink faster than that under any circumstances, unless you've talked to me first, okay? We'll talk about it. Sometimes that needs to happen temporarily, but it should be a temporary thing, and only when we're talking about this. And I'm looking at your vital signs, because unless we know exactly what your vital signs are, we don't really know that you're safe doing that, okay? So we need to be staying, we need to look at this thing down. Understand, I recently fasted someone who, I told her exactly what to do, how to use the blood pressure machine. She took bad numbers, gave me, she didn't know what she was doing. It turned out the cup was the wrong size. I told her how tight it should be. It was only after a few weeks I said, is that tight enough? And she'd been drinking way too much water because her numbers, she was getting bad numbers because she wasn't doing it correctly, okay? Wound up having electrolyte issues and needing to go to the hospital to get them balanced again. It's best to avoid that, okay? And I mean, this has never happened before. I've been fasting people for 13 years. We've never had anyone not know how to, consistently do this incorrectly, where we're getting such bad numbers they get themselves in trouble. It's never happened. Now, I'm not saying no one's ever needed to get electrolytes balanced. There are various reasons that can happen, and we can't always avoid that. We do our best to avoid it, but what we're trying to do is allow the body the water it needs to really clean out all the garbage. Okay, you can drink much less water, but you get far less benefit if you don't get enough water. So we're trying to allow you to get what you need without getting too much, and there is a little bit of risk involved. You need to understand that. But and a lot more risk involved if you're doing this without experienced guidance. It's so much more helpful. I mean, all the people I'm working with now, I think most of them have told me. I'm thinking of the people I'm working with via Skype and the people that have been here. Most of them tried fasting on their own. All of them say to me, it is so much better with guidance. Okay, it makes all the difference in the world. So, I mean, those are my 2 biggest tips. I mean, people say to me, I take my vital signs. I'm like, well, yeah, but do you know how to interpret them? Because if you don't know how to interpret them, if you don't know what they mean when they change, then taking them is not really helping you very much. I mean, I guess it can tell you if you're in serious danger if you get like some crazy whacked out numbers, but you have to really understand what these numbers mean. Okay, so if there's any way to make it happen, I would strongly encourage you to have guidance. I guarantee you it's well worth it to you. Even if it's difficult to find, create, raise the money, it's well worth it because you're going to have a so much more powerful and so much more beneficial experience. Okay, I'm running out of time. I'm going to have to move on. Please write to me, Engine, and let's see what we can figure out. Engin, I guess. Mark has made a $10 contribution and said, have you seen teeth respond to fasting? Yes, indeed. However, I mean, first of all, we see teeth responding all the time. I'm fasting some well. She's refeeding now. It's her second fast with me. She has a root canal and had a problem, had a major infection in her mouth. Didn't want to go the normal route. I told her she'll probably need, first of all, to have the root canal pulled out because root canals are a terrible thing. If you're sitting here, if you're watching this and you have root canals, understand that root canals have been linked to very serious health challenges because of the fact that what happens with a root canal, the root dies, you have a dead tooth sitting there, they take the root out, they inject some material in there to fill the space, the socket, but it doesn't adhere to your living tissue. And the result is you wind up with pockets of bacteria. I'm fasting a man now who believed that this fast already, it's been a week, has saved his life, were his words, words to that effect, because he was dealing with heart problems as well as problems in his colon because of the infection in his mouth, which fasting has eradicated. This young woman as well, same thing. She's now, where is she? No, I think I can't remember. She's nearly finished her process. I think she's got 1 or 2 days left with me. This is a 35-day, 5-week process. She's been doing via Skype for the second time, and she wanted to be here, but couldn't get here, this past session that's ending now because of all the travel restrictions. So did it via Skype instead. And same thing, and her boyfriend was telling her, at one point when it seemed like it was getting worse, her boyfriend, fasting's making you less healthy. You need to go, immediately go to the hospital. It's now much, much better than it was a week or 10 days ago as a result of fasting, because that's what fasting does. Fasting is the best way to boost your body's immune function. So we'll see that kind of thing improving all the time. We'll often see gum issues improve, teeth become whiter with fasting. Cavities aren't going to heal with a single fast in most cases. Now, I've had my own cavities heal, but over time. That hasn't happened with a single fast. I've never noticed it happening, at least. Maybe it has, but I doubt it. I wouldn't expect anyone necessarily to see any significant healing occur with a single fast. Okay? All right. Let me scroll down here. All right. Let's see. Okay, I see a lot of comments here, but there we go. I missed that one. There we go. Okay, Shannon Brintley. Hello, Shannon. Good to see you again. Shannon's another one who is here consistently and frequently contributing, and I'm so appreciative. I can't even tell you. Thank you so much. Shannon has made a $14.99 contribution and has said, there's my 10 o'clock call in my ears. I'm going to be a few minutes late. Has said, good day, Loren. Keep spreading the good word. Is it just me, or are you looking significantly younger these days than in your older videos? Well, it's interesting. I've had somebody else ask me the same thing. I don't know. I shave some days, not today. I shave here and here. I don't spend I guess I see myself on camera. And maybe because I see myself every day, I don't really notice. But I had one of my volunteers tell me that I look much younger to her than when she first came here to fast with me a couple of years ago. I don't know. Thank you. I'll take that as Okay, I'm at a loss for words here. Yeah, thank you. Let me just say that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I mean, I assume that's you're saying something kind, and I appreciate it. I'm not sure, but I feel great. I felt great now for a long time, and so I mean, honestly, I'm more tired these days than I have been in years because I'm up too late working most of the time, trying to do everything I'm committed to doing, and we have a lot going on here. There's a lot of cool things. For those of you that have been here before, when you come back, you're going to see some not huge details, perhaps, but some cool things. Some of you have seen the video or videos we did of the farm next door we purchased a few months back. Well, just before all this hit, fortunately. I mean, we didn't finally sign the documents until after the pandemic was already happening. But because the bank had committed, we went ahead and got the loan done. Fortunately, we had a lot tied up in that thing, and so we have over these last months we've been creating swales and planting trees, and that's going to be cool. You're going to get a chance to see all that. But there's there's lots of projects, lots of cool things going on. All right, so let me see here. Let me scroll down and see if there's anything else. I thought there was. We have a couple more. I'm going to answer these quickly before I have to go. I'm going to let you guys know now. I won't have time for any more. If there's a comment after these two contribution, I'm going to ask you to email me and I'll respond. Or if you want to, you can do a contribution now and I'll respond via email. Just email me because I won't have your email unless I already know you. Okay. Alexis De Prato has made a €549 contribution and said, "Hello, Loren. Why is there so many people, YouTubers, journalists, doctors promoting the carnivore diet, health benefits? I'm perplexed." Well, I think the answer, Alexis, is simply that there are so many people. I mean, first of all, let's be clear about this. And this may sound disrespectful, and I don't intend to be disrespectful, but it may sound that way. And it may sound surprising to many people, but doctors, medicine is all about the study of suppressing symptoms. And it's kind of always been pointed in that direction. 100 years ago when John D. Rockefeller took over, and he was the first billionaire, and what he did was he decided what medical schools could and couldn't teach. He wrote the curriculum, he changed the textbooks, he forced the system, he created the American Medical Association, which probably created other medical associations or spurred the creation of those. They eventually, and he invested in big pharma. This all happened at the same time. He was investing in these fledgling drug companies, which have now been, incredible cash cows to Rockefeller and many others. But the point was to change the practice of medicine so that it was all about dispensing drugs because they're lucrative. Okay. It's not about health. Drugs don't ever make anyone healthier. Doctors, in fact, today know nothing about health, have the shortest lifespan of any professional, are responsible for killing more people than anything besides cancer and heart disease. Now, I know there's good doctors and good people out there that mean well, and many who are doing good work, but they're probably not practicing conventional medicine the way that the big pharma is pushing them to do, because that's not helping people very much. Okay, so what doctors believe, that doesn't mean anything. YouTube, being a YouTuber means you open a YouTube channel. Journalists, so people will feel better when they clean up their diet. The average North American now gets, and I see that you're making a Euro donation. I'm guessing from your name that maybe you're Italian or you're obviously not from the U.S. I'm guessing. The average North American now gets 61% of their calories from ultra-processed foods. This is garbage. This is crap, and it's not that different. I've been in Italy. I've been throughout Europe speaking. I've been in every country in Western Europe except the tiny ones now. I've never been in Monte Carlo, for instance, and I've been to most countries in Eastern Europe speaking as well. And most people eat poorly. There's more and more junk food and garbage all the time. That's what people eat. If you eliminate the garbage, if you're eating whole food, even if it's meat, if you eliminate all that really nasty toxic garbage, you're probably going to get healthier. Okay, you're going to avoid some symptoms by eliminating sugar from your diet, even fruit, carbohydrates from your diet. But this is not the way to health. Okay, and there's no question about this. I mean, we know for a fact, the research, science is really clear about this. Excess protein makes you age and die faster. Excess protein, eating more animal products, increases your risk of dementia, of cancer, of heart disease, of lower GI tract problems. These people are seriously misguided, and they are in for some, a rude awakening at some point. I wouldn't wish this upon anyone. No one should be eating this. This is craziness. If you look at people much younger than me, there's famous podcasters and YouTubers much younger than me that eat a carnivore diet, and they usually have these big circles under their eyes. I had some months back, I had someone comment on, some troll on one of my videos said, "You don't look good for your age." I'm nearly 60. I'll be 60 in a few months. "You don't look good for your age. Look at this woman who's 50, by the way. She's 10 years younger than me. But look at this woman. She looks really great for 50, and she eats a carnivore diet." And he sent me a link to a video. So I watched a video, and here's this woman, someone from the Philippines. I don't know who she is. I watched one video and said, I don't have time to waste with this kind of nonsense. But this woman was showing her meal. It was this large hunk of beef. That was her entire meal, just a hunk of beef. No vegetables, no anything else, just a hunk of beef. Everyone understand that all the nutrients, including protein, come from plants. That's where everything comes from. Carnivores, animals, are smart enough to eat plant eaters. Okay, they want to be. They have to eat They have to eat meat, right? The animals, cats, Chai over there is a carnivore. He's an obligate carnivore. He has to eat meat to be healthy. Okay. Or artificially get what he needs, those amino acids, somewhere else. But he's got to get, his body is intended to get them from animal products. But he would eat plant eaters to be as close to the plants as possible. We have absolutely no need for animal products. Eating them just removes us from the source of nutrients and creates all kinds of problems for our bodies. It makes no sense whatsoever. Anyway, this woman said, so she showed us her meal, right, the entire meal, and then dessert was a stick of butter. Okay, I'm not kidding. Okay, she's in the video with this big hunk of meat and a stick of butter. This is what she eats as a meal, right? And she said afterward, I only have a bowel movement once every 7 to 10 days, but that's because my body absorbs everything. Now, I've lived with carnivores my entire life, cats, dogs, right? Dogs are more omnivores, but they eat meat. And they will eat the meat, and they will eliminate within a couple hours at the most, because there are very toxic byproducts from a heavy protein-based diet. Okay, and so they want to get that garbage out of their body. And here's a human who should be eating twice a day plant foods, and eliminating 8 to 12 hours later is what our system is designed to do in a properly functioning system. And she says, I eliminate once every 7 to 10 days, right? Yeah, she is in for a rude awakening, some serious problems, okay? I think, the short answer is most people do not understand health. They think if they're suppressing symptoms, they're healthy. They're not, okay? Suppressing symptoms just means your body is unable to cleanse and heal. Okay, we want to be symptom-free because the body has no need for symptoms. But that's not what's happening on a carnivore diet. This is a recipe for disaster. And of course, there's no reason to kill other animals when you don't have to do it. I couldn't possibly justify that, and don't know how anyone could. I got to move on. Rachel Green, hi Loren, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Does osteopenia respond well with fasting? Osteopenia, which is before osteoporosis, it's I forget the percentage. There's an amount of bone loss that occurs. It's not osteoporosis yet. It's not that bad. Yes, what fasting does is it allows the body to balance itself. And then afterward, we can begin to rebuild bone. In order to rebuild bone, we have to eliminate acid-forming foods. We need to do weight-bearing exercise. We need to get sufficient sunlight. But we do all those things, and we fast first to clear the way for the body to work perfectly. It's amazing what happens. I wanted to share some things with you. In fact, I have a client right now who just today is day 2 of refeeding after a 30-day fast, and she was severely vitamin D deficient. She was required, for various reasons, I may have shared this last week, but she was required to go to the doctor 11, 12 days ago. It's a long story, but she had a commitment. She couldn't get out of this. The law required her to get this medical checkup, and she had a number of things going on, including severe vitamin D deficiency, which, by the way, usually shows up with cancer, but is going to lead to osteoporosis and other things. She had breast tumors. The tumor's gone completely in 21 days, disappeared. She's on 30. She did 30, but this occurred on the 21st day. And the doctor could not find 3 tumors in the breast. They were gone. And her vitamin D, which had been severely depleted before, severely deficient, is now perfect. Okay, and she's been in bed in Massachusetts for the last several weeks, not exposing herself to any sunlight whatsoever. She's stayed in bed the whole time. Okay, vitamin D is now healthy. That's what fasting does. It allows the body to rebalance itself. Okay, I have another client who today reported, he's in Switzerland, and he just completed a 37-day fast 6 days ago. And one of his issues was a severe vitamin B12 deficiency. His B12 is now through the roof. He has consumed no animal products. He has taken no supplements. He simply fasted for 37 days. He got it tested a couple days ago, just got the results, and he has perfect vitamin B12. So Z-Bubs, I am unfortunately out of time. Please email me with your question. Thank you so much for the contribution. Thank you, Rachel, for the contribution. I'm late for a call. I've got to go. I said maybe you weren't on the call at the time, but send me an email, info@tanglewoodwellnesscenter.com, with your question. I will respond to it later today. Thank you so much for the contribution. Okay, I'll make sure I get back to you. I just don't have time to do it here. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for being with me. I'll look forward to seeing you again next week. Stay tuned for some exciting announcements. If you're interested in saving, fasting with me either here or via Skype, the clock is about to time out on that. We've been offering this now for months. You're going to want to take advantage of it as soon as you can. Okay? Take care, everybody. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.